Hello everybody, and today we will be talking about the cyber threat intelligence. And as you know that CTI becoming a post buzzword. So in your opinion, what do you think about it?
Yeah, thanks for having that question from
Yes.
cyber threat intelligence, which I call a crucial factor for a SOC operation, and which is again a process which collects, analyzes, and then disseminates the data throughout the SOC roles, and then it has been used to analyze about the threat actors, the malwares in proactively, and then about the indicators of compromise as well. So all these broad terms and factors are being considered in a threat intelligence platform. So that's where people tend to have certain levels of threat intelligence platform, even tool based and even for managed services concepts and all. But all in all, organizations would need that service and would need that a process in place to analyze and to prevent the cybersecurity threats and to enhance the security posture.
Okay. So why do you say that CTI is more important?
Yeah. So as I said earlier, so in detailed explanation, CTI, especially for organizations, all the organizations, let's say a financial institute, a telco, or any other manufacturing institute, would need to, even the medical sector, would need to have certain level of security certifications, right? So all the organizations should go through ISO 27001, 2022, the latest security frameworks or certifications, and medical institutions with HIPAA, banks with PCI DSS, so or NIST framework. So many frameworks and security certifications are there. So to comply with all these regulations, organization must have threat intelligence platform, because it's a common factor and it's a common control which is now being integrated to all these kind of certifications, which is a mandatory requirement for a particular organization to have. So in that case, any organization would get certified or would get complied on these frameworks should have or must have this threat intelligence platform or threat intelligence process. And of course, moreover, organization would need to identify and prioritize the threats, right?
Yes.
So if there's a threats, we can't just prevent the organization with the tools whatever we have. We don't know what is happening outside, right?
Yeah.
So all the external threats, how do we know? So if you are not analyzing, if you are not collecting intelligence about the outer world threats, then you are not safe. So those are the main reasons where organizations should need to have a threat intelligence platform. So even organizations could develop the mitigation strategies. Let's say security strategy.
Yes.
They need to develop a security strategy. So how do you develop your security strategy? Not only thinking about the organizational perspective, we need to think about the outside perspective as well. How the threat, how we have open to threats, how our systems are vulnerable to outsider threats or insider attacks. All these kind of things can be analyzed using threat intelligence. So that's another thing. And another factor, I would say that to improve the overall security posture. So these kind of having all these kind of processes and all, and complying to regulations and all, would improve the overall security posture of the organization as well. So if organization would provide services to another organization, so B2B concept, or if organization providing services to another customer, let's say a software development company providing services to a bank or another organization, would need to have certain level of threat intelligence, because they need to safeguard their coding, right? So how to safeguard their coding? There are a lot of methods, but there are threat actors outside which you don't know. So without having threat intelligence, you are not safe. So those are the key factors, I would say, that the threat intelligence should have. Also, it enhances the awareness of the staff, the SOC staff, or not only the security staff. It enhances the awareness of all the staff of an organization. How? So because you do security awareness sessions,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So to do those kind of security awareness sessions, you can use the threat intelligence news. The news about the new threat actors and new vulnerabilities to mitigate those kind of things. So those are the things.
Okay, Sasi, so I have one question. So how can CTI collect those data from the organization, something like that. Can you explain more about it?
Yeah, so you asked one element of CTI. So before answering your question, I need to talk about the CTI framework.
Okay.
So CTI framework comes with three elements. One is the collection of data, and then the analysis of the collected data, intelligence, and then the dissemination of data among the relevant roles, relevant security roles. So collection of data. There are major components which we could collect data. Number one is open source intelligence. Number two, we can collect from the closed source intelligence. And then number three, we can collect from the human intelligence. So open source, those are the things which are readily available information, in publicly available shared information which you can get from news articles, from various intelligent news platforms, all those kind of things. You can collect the open source information. Closed source information, it's like which are not publicly available, but which are inside certain organizations, in analyzing the networks, internal networks, and some of the network analyzing tools. Using all these kind of methods, you can collect the closed source information as well. Okay. So human intelligence, which is like due to the social media. Most of the human personal information which are readily available, those are kind of like again public information, but those are the human sources collected information. Okay. So then the second phase of the framework is how we analyze the CTI. Right. So to analyze the CTI, we need to see the correlation of the CTI the patterns, and the collected data patterns, and how the relationship among the certain threat actors and all. Then we can search for correlations and patterns for that data, and then you can do a trend analysis. Right. So the trends of certain kind of vulnerabilities, yes. The trends evolving from years. How you analyze those kind of things, because threats are not starting today and closing tomorrow, right? Yeah. Threats are always evolving, so you need to find the trend of them. Then the another factor is that we can check about the risk analysis. So based on the risk, you can analyze the factors of threat information. Okay. So the next one, the framework, the third element of the framework is the dissemination points. So as I explained earlier, so this is under the SOC operation, right? So dissemination of information, mainly the main person is the SOC analysis. So SOC analysis would receive those information, then he need to analyze, and most probably SOC analysis or the NOC team or somebody from the system administration would also receives this data in order to prevent certain scenario. So that's how the CTI framework expands.
Okay, Sasi, so any process it should be have the best practice, right? So for the CTI, any best practice for that to implement?
Yeah, of course. Since CTI is a main framework under the regulations and under the compliance, so it must have best practices. Yeah. So number one, we should establish clear goals and the process for the CTI. So if you don't have a goal for the CTI, if you don't know the internal, if you do not do any internal risk assessment, you don't know about what you need to implement. So before the implementation, you need to have a clear goal and you need to have a clear strategy. So based on your strategy, you need to develop the framework based on the framework already there. But what I meant is that you need to develop the framework based on what data we need to collect, what sources of things we have to use to collect data for our organization, not just collecting all the information is irrelevant. Then how we can analyze, what sort of tools we are using for the analysis, or malware analysis, threat analysis, all these kind of things. And what sort of roles should be in the SOC team should receive or disseminate the data, as I explained. So then you can use variety of sources, based on the intelligence gathering and including the internal systems and the other third-party systems you are using. Based on that, you can gather so much data even internally as well. But you need to leverage the advanced technologies. I mean to say that you can't just collect the data and analyze all the time, right? Yeah. You need to automate. There are so many tools and managed services. AI, ML, AI has been automated already. So we can use those tools. So those are the best practices. Otherwise, you are wasting time. So then you have to develop a risk-based approach. As I explained, you need to know what is the risk you are in. So any organization tend to implement a tool, they can't just implement a tool. They need to know first. They have to do a proper risk-based assessment.
Risk-based assessment.
Exactly. So that's another best practice you need to do, and ensure that the intelligence program align to the organization overall cybersecurity, the strategy and the goal. So the intelligence program based on, as I said, the goals and strategies which you have identified and enacted, those things should map with the threat intelligence platform goals as well. So that's another factor. Then you need to have a team, right? Human resource.
Yeah.
So unless if you are going with managed service provider, then that's another case. But internally, if you are having a SOC team, the SOC team should be knowledgeable enough to know about dark web, and the how to analyze the malwares, the pen testers, the SOC analysis knowledge, right? So he needs to complete at least couple of threat intel or cybersecurity, at least penetration based or ethical hacking based examinations. Those kind of things are best practices to be have under your human resources. So that's another factor. Then the regular tests. So you are just not analyzing the information, you need to test the data, right? You, let's say your list of emails have been compromised, you have to test that thing using a simulation kind of thing. So those are the number of things. There are so many things which I can detail in this session, but there are so many best practices are there which governs the CTI framework.
Okay, Sasi, so now we can understand about the CTI and some kind of like SOC, like that. So for the organization that they want to implement those CTI or SOC, do you have any advice for them?
Yes, of course. First of all, our company Technovage is a booming company in the cybersecurity space in Cambodia as a local Cambodian company, which we have partnered with so many industry leading cybersecurity service providers. Especially for CTI, we have a partnership with SOC Radar. So they are, I think, even recently in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, they are the number one in the top list. So as a threat intel platform with managed services as well as your own implementations, we can partner with our partnership. We can provide the solution for your organization on the CTI implementations and all. But first of all, the main advice is for any organization, as you can recall my earlier advice on the best practices. Organization need to know about their risk first. So without knowing the risk, it's useless implementing tools, right? So in that case, the first and the last advice in this session is that organization should carry out their risk-based assessment, the risk assessment mainly, and then identify what are the risks involved and what are the risks you're in, how your security posture, maturity is, and then you can decide on what tools need to be implemented. So as a result of this session, we are communicating throughout these kind of series of sessions is that next session is a webinar on threat intelligence with our partners of Radar. So and we are more than happy to invite you all for this webinar, and our page will publish the details as soon as possible.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, have a nice day.
Have a nice day, guys.